She gave away my dogs so we could have a child, and now she says she doesn't understand why I want to end the relationship. I don't have children, I never did. But for 10 years, those 3 dogs were the closest thing I had to a family. I didn't buy them on a whim. I adopted them when I was alone, broke, freshly moved into a tiny apartment where we barely fit. I raised them from puppies, nursed them when they were sick, trained them, fed them better than myself. They were my home, my companions, my responsibility. And yes, I loved them like children. When I met Laura, I never imagined that part of my life would become a problem. At first, she laughed at how I spoke to them, at the routines I had with them, at how I could tell when one was sad just by the way they lay down. She said it was sweet, that I was a different kind of man. And I felt lucky. I thought I had found someone who understood that love doesn't mean dividing, but multiplying. For a while, we lived separately. She came over, spent the weekends, and everything flowed, no tension. If the dogs barked or left hair on the sofa, she accepted it as part of the package. But everything changed when she moved in with me. Suddenly, it wasn't so adorable anymore. Suddenly, walking them was a nuisance. Vet visits were an unnecessary expense. Dog beds in the living room were a mess. And I really did. I cut down on outings, adjusted my budget, stopped buying things for myself just to reduce expenses, but I was never going to stop caring for them. I couldn't. When we talked about having a child, I got excited. Not because I wanted to replace the dogs, but because we would finally grow as a family. I pictured our son or daughter playing with them in the yard, running, laughing, learning from an early age what empathy, unconditional love, and loyal companionship were. Laura, on the other hand, had a different vision. A clean, quiet house, white walls, human schedules, no fur, no barking, no interruptions. That's when she made the proposal. "What if we find them another home?" she said one night while we were having dinner. I thought it was a joke. I literally laughed, not out of mockery, but out of disbelief. She was really asking me to give away my family to make room for another. She insisted it was for our own good, that a baby needed peace, that the dogs were an obstacle. I tried to explain it wasn't that simple, that I couldn't get rid of them like old furniture, that they weren't a phase, they were part of me. Every time the topic came up, I hid behind humor, sarcasm, because if I faced it seriously, it would break me. It hurt to see she didn't understand the bond one had with them. It hurt that she couldn't love me whole, only the parts that were convenient. I never thought she would take it that far. I never imagined she'd do something without telling me. And when I came back from that fishing trip with my father, the first thing I noticed was the silence, the emptiness, the absence of smell. The dogs were gone. When I opened the door, something felt wrong. It wasn't the normal silence of a nap with the dogs asleep. It was a hollow silence, an absence, the kind you feel before someone delivers bad news. "Where are the dogs?" I asked as soon as I saw her. She was ready. She had a rehearsed answer, as if she had practiced it in the mirror for hours. She told me she had taken them to her uncle's farm, that they'd be better off there, with more space, that it was best for everyone. I didn't understand. "What do you mean you took them? When? Why without telling me?" She tried to calm me down. She said it was for our future, for the baby we hadn't even started trying for yet, that if we wanted to be parents, we had to make sacrifices, that I should understand. But I wasn't angry yet. I was confused, as if it was a giant misunderstanding that could be fixed with one phone call. "Call them. I want to talk to your uncle." She refused. That's when I got angry. Something exploded inside me. I shouted. I asked her if she was crazy, if she had any idea what she had done, if she understood that she had made a unilateral decision about something that didn't belong to her. She looked at me like I was the irrational one. "It's for our own good," she repeated. "You'll thank me someday." How do you thank someone for taking your children away without saying a word? The days that followed were a blur. I locked myself in the bedroom. I didn't want to see her, couldn't look at her, but I couldn't think of anything else. Every corner of the house reminded me of them. Their toys, their beds, the automatic feeders still there, silent, useless. Then came the call from her uncle. He didn't have to say much. Just hearing his voice, I knew something had gone terribly wrong. 2 of them were dead. The third, Marte, barely alive, her leg shattered. It was like being thrown underwater with a stone tied to my neck. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't an accident, not something unpredictable. It was the direct result of a decision someone else had made for me. When I confronted her, I already knew. This time she didn't lie. She told me everything while I just stared at her. Words, excuses, justifications, they all sounded far away, like coming from another place. I didn't have the strength to argue. I just asked her to start the car. I had to see them with my own eyes. The trip to the farm was long and silent. I drove. She sat beside me, staring out the window. Not a word. But it wasn't the silence of someone keeping you company. It was the silence of someone who doesn't know how to face what's coming. Halfway there, I realized I was gripping the wheel so tightly that my knuckles had turned white. I couldn't stop thinking about them. If they had felt scared, confused, abandoned when it wasn't me who took them. That thought suffocated me. When we arrived, Laura's uncle was already waiting outside. I didn't greet him. I just asked, "Where are they?" He led us in silence to a makeshift shed behind the house. Inside, I saw a blanket on the floor, a small bowl of water at the side. And Marte, she wasn't the same. Her body was covered in dirt, her bones visible beneath her fur, a poorly tied bandage on one leg. But when she saw me, she stood as best as she could, leaned on her good leg, and dragged herself toward me. I couldn't hold back. I knelt down, hugged her, told her I was there, that everything would be okay. She licked my face as if no time had passed, as if everything she had suffered disappeared the moment she saw me. And the others? I asked without lifting my head. Her uncle hesitated. Then he said, "One, we found him dead. The other disappeared. Probably didn't survive." The weight of those words crushed me. I didn't cry, didn't scream, just nodded. And in that gesture, I knew everything had changed. I carried Marte to the car, made her a spot in the back seat, gave her water. She lay down without complaint, staring at me. I don't remember much of the drive back. Silence filled everything, as if the world had stopped existing outside that car. And she, my fiancée, sat beside me, saying nothing, as if her presence somehow compensated for the damage. But it didn't. Every passing minute convinced me I no longer knew her, that I had lived with someone who not only didn't understand me, but had made an irreversible decision. A decision that killed part of my life. Back home, Marte was still struggling to breathe. I helped her out, set her up on a clean blanket, her favorite toy, water, food. She settled without complaint, with that noble grace of one who gave everything without expecting anything in return. Then I turned to her. She said nothing, not a sorry, not a tear, not a word of comfort. Just stood there, frozen, like she didn't know what to do with her guilt. "Pack your things," I said quietly. She blinked, as if she hadn't heard right. "What? Pack your things and go." She stepped closer. "You can't ask me that. Not after everything we've built. It was a mistake, yes, but I did it for us." That word, us, lit something inside me. Where was this us when you decided to take my dogs without telling me? When you left them with someone who didn't even know them, in a place that wasn't safe? When one ended up dead and the other vanished? She tried to defend herself. "I didn't know that would happen. I just wanted them to have space. I never wanted them to die. I didn't plan it like that. And what difference does that make?" I interrupted. "The damage is done. You made a decision for me. You took away what I loved most. You did it behind my back. You hid it. And then you lied." She broke down a little, but not enough. "I thought you'd understand. I thought if you had to choose between them and starting a family with me, you'd eventually choose me." I had to laugh, but it was bitter. "Choose you? You think this was a choice? You think building a family means erasing what came before? You think love is what's left after cleaning out what you don't like?" I sank onto the sofa, exhausted. "I loved you. I wanted a life with you. But I can't trust you anymore. I don't want to share my life with someone who thinks bonds are disposable, who cuts roots without looking back. I can't." She cried. She knelt in front of me, held my hands. "Please, don't throw me out. I ruined it. I know, but we can still fix this. Therapy, talking, healing. I'll help you with Marte, I'll stay." "No, not anymore. It's not about Marte. It's about me. Because when I look at you now, I don't see the woman I wanted to have a child with. I see someone who never understood me at all." She let go. I watched her fall silent. For a moment, I thought she'd insist again, but then she gave up. She stood slowly, went to the bedroom, and I heard her packing. I didn't move. I just sat there with Marte, stroking her, feeling her breath against my leg. She understood. She never betrayed me. And even if it was just the two of us left, that was enough. After she left, the silence in the house wasn't relief. It was weight. Not the peaceful silence of a long day, nor the cozy silence of a Sunday morning. It was a hollow silence, echoing with absence. I stayed with Marte. She breathed heavily, but remained alert, as if she couldn't fully relax. Her eyes looked older, tired. She didn't bark, didn't complain, just stayed close as if she knew we were both surviving together. Caring for her became my new routine. Cleaning her wounds, special meals, slow walks, medication. Sometimes I stayed awake just to make sure she was still breathing. The days blurred together. Work half done, meals without hunger, restless sleep. The house felt bigger, emptier. But the hardest part wasn't space, it was time. The time without Sultan and Toby. The time that left me alone with memories. Some nights I woke up thinking I heard their steps. Went to the kitchen, but nothing. No bowls lined up, no leashes by the door, just absence. Then she wrote. Not a letter, not a long apology, just a message. I know I don't deserve for you to read me, but I need to tell you something. I ignored it, but I didn't block her. It was like a wound you don't want to touch, but can't cover either. Days later, another message. I miss loving you, us. And another. I swear I didn't do it out of malice. I made a mistake, but we can still talk. Every time I saw her name on my screen, my heart raced, not from love, but from anger, from old wounds, from injustice that never healed. Then she showed up. I was leaving the building with Marte when I saw her across the street. Standing still, hair tied back, simple clothes, eyes I couldn't tell were remorse or desperation. She came closer. Can we talk? She asked softly. I stayed silent. Just 5 minutes. Please. Still silent. Marte walked slowly on her good leg. When she stopped, her tail stilled. I deserve to be heard, she insisted. No, you don't. She inhaled sharply, looked at Marte, then at me. Are you really going to keep ignoring me? After everything we were? Yes. Her voice hardened. So what? You'll condemn me forever for one mistake? It was just a dog. That sentence pierced my chest like a burning nail. Marte panted beside me, lowering her head. Just a dog. She stepped back as if she realized what she'd just said. I didn't mean it like that. She tried to fix it. Yes, you did. And that's exactly why we're here. You think I had to choose. That you also deserved love, deserved to be the priority. But what happens when we had a child? Were the dogs supposed to sleep with him? Share his food? You think I would never change. Maybe I wouldn't. But I didn't need to. Because there's nothing broken in loving unconditionally. What was broken was you. Her eyes filled with tears, but this time they didn't move me. They didn't make me doubt. They only showed me she still didn't get it, that she still thought the important thing was winning the argument. I don't want to hate you, I told her, but I don't ever want you near me again. She trembled. You're throwing me out of your life for that. No answer. I'm taking you out of my life because I can't trust you anymore. Because you crossed a line you can't come back from. Because to you, this is all exaggerated, but for me, it's the deepest grief I've ever lived. I turned away. Marte walked beside me. I didn't look back. Months passed. The house became more mine. I moved to a smaller place, but with a yard where Marte could sunbathe in the mornings. She doesn't run anymore, but she walks with dignity. Sometimes she sits by the door as if waiting. I sit beside her, stroke her head, and tell her, no one will ever hurt us again. I went back to work, reconnected with friends, left social media, not because I was ashamed, but because I was tired of the rumors, the people saying I should have forgiven her. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted peace. And I found it. Recently, I met someone new. She's different. When I told her what happened, she didn't minimize it. She didn't say they were just animals, or, you should be over it by now. She just said, I'm glad you still have her. Can I meet her someday? That was enough to know maybe it was still possible to build something true. I'm not in a hurry. I don't need to fill the emptiness. Marte is still here. Her love, her loyalty, her silent companionship taught me what pure respect is. The wound remains, it doesn't fade. Sometimes I dream of Sultan or Toby, wake up with my chest tight. But I don't feel guilt anymore, just love. And when I think of her, the ex who thought you build a future by destroying the present, I don't feel hate. Only pity. Because she never understood that family isn't something you choose. It's something you care for, honor, and defend. And I chose to defend mine. Even if it meant being alone, even if it cost me everything. Now I know it wasn't a loss. It was a liberation. And finally, I can say it without doubt. I am happy. Not like before, not with what I once dreamed of, but with what survived the storm, with what endured. Yeah,